Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Affirmation Addict Podcast. It is holiday season, and I know that a lot of our energies can be triggered. A lot of our energies can feel like they're being depleted, and there's a lot that goes on energetically aside from all of the shopping and the food and the family and all that chaos. So I wanted to record a little episode for you for this holiday season in case you needed a reminder as to how to protect your energy and what to do if you feel like you're a little bit drained. So I hope this episode applies to you, and I hope it helps you when you need it. You're listening to the Affirmation Addict Podcast with Payal Agarwal. This podcast will teach you about the power of affirmations while making manifestation easy and accessible for you in order to enhance your spiritual consciousness. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm so excited to dive into today's episode. Actually, wait, before we get started, I wanted to check with you. Have you heard about my new app? It's called Affirm, and it's your one-stop shop for all things affirmations, manifestation, and self-healing. I really have been wanting to create something for you that truly empowers you to realize that you genuinely have everything you need within you. You don't need me. You don't need any other coaches. This app genuinely has everything you need to get that life that you've been trying to manifest. And it has gentle daily reminders, guided audio affirmations, sleep affirmations, affirmation reminders, and so much more good information, good energy, and so many things that I know will help you manifest your dreams. Because I'm so grateful for you, I'm actually offering you a free 7-day trial. And this is a genuine 7-day trial. That means you don't have to type in your credit card. You won't be automatically charged. There's no ads, and you get complete access to the app as if you've already subscribed to it. So if you do want to learn more about the app, head over to affirmation-addict.com/app, or if you're ready to dive in, head over to the iTunes App Store and search for Affirm. The Android version will be coming soon, and as soon as it's ready, I'll be sure to let you know. Now we can officially dive into today's episode. All right. Hello, everybody. So today we're talking about protecting your energy during the holiday season. And one thing I want to get started on before we dive into this topic is I hope that you set the intention for this holiday season to be beautiful, whatever that means for you, whether that means spending time on your own because you don't want to see your family or you don't have family to see, whether that means spending time with your friends rather than your parents for 1 year, whether that means spending time with your parents because maybe you didn't have the best relationship and you're rebuilding that. So I just hope that you are able to go into this holiday season without thinking about everybody else's definitions and photos and expectations of what holidays mean and really creating your own definition of it. When you're giving gifts, do you want to give them or are you giving them because you have to give them? So I encourage you to start thinking about and taking ownership of what holidays mean for you and what you want them to mean for you and the people you surround yourself with during this time. So that is kind of the preface. I just wanted to give you that little message. I think I was being called to just blurt that out. So sorry for just diving right into that. But this week, or at least today, I wanted to talk about protecting your energy this season. I've noticed that during the Align Your Mind experience and just all the messages and DMs and emails I'm getting, a lot of us tend to just get a little more triggered during this time of year. And I think one reason is because it is holiday season. I think there's a lot of sales going on. I think it's time to do shopping for some people if you guys are doing Christmas presents. And then it's also the new year coming around. So it just feels like things just tend to speed up times 100 the last few weeks of the year because it feels like we're just rushing to finish up everything before New Year starts. And so I feel like there's so many things going on. And I think the biggest trigger that a lot of us have is the people we surround ourselves with. no matter who they are, even if they're your closest friends or your family, I think naturally we tend to get very triggered because I think the holidays have a really special place in a lot of our childhood. And I think they have a really big meaning to a lot of us because it's either filled with family or it's filled with all these fantasies when you're little. I think a lot of people look forward to this season because it's very celebrated. I think in a lot of cultures, this end of the year season, it brings up a lot of memories during that time. And not just because I'm born and raised in America, but even when I was in India and growing up in an Indian family during this time of year, we still got all excited for holiday season and celebrated Christmas, even though we had no idea what it even meant. So this is not just because I'm in the States. I just feel like this season of winter and New Year's is very, very common for a lot of us to just get excited and feel festive. And I think that means spending a lot of time with people. And sometimes that means spending a lot of time with people who know you to your core so they can trigger you to your core as well. And I know I've experienced that in the past before. And so what I want to talk about is your energy and how that relates to the people you surround yourself with. So the biggest thing to remember is that your energy is always, always, always in your control. I know that for me during holiday season, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and just all the weddings that go on, at least during this time of year for our family, that I see so many people in my family. I see so many people from my childhood, and they either bring up how I used to be as a child or things I tried to forget that I used to do, really embarrassing stuff, or they just say things that they don't mean, or they are like, oh, what are you doing with your life? When are you getting married? Things like that. So it's just a very kind of intrusive time, I believe, that I think triggers so many of us where we feel like we have to just put our guard up and protect ourselves. So with that being said, that's where I'm really coming from with protecting your energy, because those questions, those triggers, everybody else's energy is in the same room for a few weeks at a time can be really overwhelming for a lot of us. And you're not alone if you get overwhelmed during this time of year. There is so much going on, and there's a lot of things to balance, a lot of things to think about. And New Year's, I don't think also helps because I think we all feel some innate responsibility to start fresh. And so I think that's really where all of this energy comes. It's not just with the people in our lives, but I think just as a culture, as a generation, I feel like I say this in every podcast episode, that everything is just like a world global culture movement, that the last few weeks of the year are just so amped up, so hyped up. And so if you do get to become a little bit triggered or a little bit irritated or a little bit sensitive, you are totally fine. And one thing I really like to do, and when I get triggered by these conversations that my old aunts or really distant relatives who have nothing to do with my life just bring up stuff that just makes me angry or hurt or upset, I try and remember that they can only affect me, they can only shift my vibration if I choose to let them do that. And then I get a little competitive and I'm like, well, I don't want them to have control over my energy. And that's what really helps me. So that's one little trick, is just to remind yourself, you know what? They can say whatever they want. They can think whatever they want. They can look at me however they want to. But the only way it's going to affect me is if I open them up and bring them into my energy field. And the way I like to close my energy field, one technique that I use is to imagine that I am like enveloped in a white bubble or a gold bubble. That's basically like this protective bubble of like unconditional love that no one can penetrate unless I let them. So that's what I mean by people can't affect you unless you let them. It's like imagining yourself walking around in this beautiful bubble of glowing light, whether that's gold or white or even some color for you, whatever resonates with you. Imagining yourself walking around with that. So when your old uncle says something about, hey, you look like you need to be in a relationship. Why aren't you married yet? And I know for some people that sounds horrendous, but that's happened to me before, where they're like, why aren't you married yet? They can upset me, it can hurt me, but instead I'm like, you know what? I have this white bubble and their thoughts are just bouncing off of it, and you just move past it. I know it sounds a lot easier said than done, but just try it and give this a chance. I'm going to share a couple more techniques throughout this episode. So if this one doesn't feel good to you, listen to the other ones and then just play around with yourself during holiday season, experiment with these and see which one works for you, because these little tricks, these little visualizations, these little intention setting things, that's what makes the biggest changes in our life. The way we work right now is very kind of efficiently. We just move forward, we talk ourselves through it, we hold our pain in, and that hasn't been serving us so well. So why not try this tiny little 5-second shift and see how it serves you? See how it helps you when some old, distant, I don't know why I keep saying old. I'm just from, in my life, all of the older people tend to trigger me because they say they shed all their wisdom on me that I don't agree with sometimes. So I think that's why I keep saying old. These people don't have to be old. They can be cousins. They can be sisters or brothers or even family friends who've seen you since you were little and bring up embarrassing stories about you as a kid. So these have all happened in my life before. So I'm just shedding all these examples because I want you to know you're not alone in feeling this way. And another thing that's not the most kind of exciting to think about, but has truly helped me in my self-reflective journey when I do get triggered or when I start to get angry or get frustrated by people, is I ask myself, what's frustrating me about them and how am I embodying that frustration? Because I firmly believe that we can only pick up things that we embody. So we can only be aware of things that are inside of us. And that can be a really beautiful thing. Like if you notice someone's beauty and you notice someone's radiance, you're picking that up because you have that somewhere inside of you. But also, if you're noticing someone's habit of gossiping about people and you're noticing and picking up on somebody's jealous and evil eye kind of situation, maybe you're embodying that somewhere within you. Not saying that you're doing that consciously, but at one point you're carrying that energy within you, because if you didn't have that energy, you would not be seeing them doing that as well, because in the end, like attracts like. So at one point, you are somehow attracting them to speak to you in this way or look at you in this way and just carry this energy. So in what way can you reflect and say, how am I maybe projecting this? Or in what ways do I do this in a different area of my life, maybe not with my family, maybe at work, that is causing me to experience this with my family? Because I think it's really, really easy to blame everybody around us about their energy is affecting me. Oh, I can't handle their energy. I'm super empathetic. But in the end, the reason they're treating you like that, the reason they're bothering you, the reason they're in your life and showing up the way they are, at some point you are the one attracting that. And maybe it's consciously, maybe it's unconscious. And at some point it's time for you to take responsibility and say, okay, I'm attracting this energy. I'm attracting this into my life and I don't like it. How can I shift out of it? And one of my favorite ways to shift out of it is to first say the affirmation. I release this pattern from my life. I release this energy from my life. And if you know exactly what it is, feel free to fill in the blank. Like if you release this toxic energy, or if you release the pattern of gossiping or judging people's outfits, whatever kind of habits or actions or anything about those family members or friends or people that really trigger you, if you can pinpoint what that is that really upsets you, you can verbally and kind of declare that you're releasing it. And that's what really, really helps me too. And then in order to work through it, I just take a second and reflect. I don't reflect from a space of, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible person. How am I causing this in my life? Come at it from a third person perspective. Just separate yourself from you and say, okay, just genuinely, unbiasedly, from a third person perspective, analyze yourself. Maybe someone's gossiping about you, but maybe you gossiped about somebody at work, or maybe you gossiped about somebody just walking on the street. Maybe someone's treating you really rude. When was the last time maybe you accidentally treated a waiter or a server really rudely and disrespected them? So it's kind of understanding the fact that energy comes and goes around. That's what we call karma. And I think there's a huge role of that plays into it, but also the energy you're carrying within you. And it's really hard for us to admit that my own energy can cause my own misery. But that's really the whole essence of it all, is we are attracting all the good things in our life, but we're also attracting all the bad things things in our life because our life is a constant manifestation. So just remember, when you are experiencing things that you don't like, remind yourself, you know what? I am in control. I manifested this into my life, meaning I can unmanifest it out of my life too. I can shift it, because if I created this, if I am creating this experience for me to suffer through, I can create an experience for me to enjoy my life through as well. And it just takes that conscious shift. Most of us get stuck in the he said, she said blame game, or being upset and carrying the grudge and carrying the frustration, because it's really almost fun and addictive to be upset and hold drama, because sometimes when there's no drama, people have nothing to talk about. And I've experienced this in my own family, and I'm doing my best to detach from it and take a step back, because I see this very, very heavily in some of my family members, my extended family, that they just can't live without the drama. And they're not necessarily doing that on purpose. But if I recognize that I carried that energy as well, I can shift my own energy in that, and they're beginning to shift the way they act around me, and I don't receive any of that drama anymore. I'm not trying to change them. I'm not blaming them, although at first I did. At first I was upset with them, but then I was like, you know what? This is happening at some point because I'm attracting it. So where can I shift that will help them shift as well? Instead of how do I change that person and thinking I'm all doing and I'm perfect and I do nothing wrong, more so notice that you're the root cause of everything in your life, all the good, all the bad, all the beautiful, all the ugly. And if you can take that radical responsibility, you have your power back. And the key to protecting your own energy is knowing that you're in full control, because when you protect your energy, it's because you know you are the owner of your own energy. A lot of the times we tend to blame people like, oh, he drained me so much, that's his fault. And that's just giving away your power. And that's why I mentioned, instead of blaming everybody else, take it upon yourself, take it into you, and make sure that you are the only one in control of your energy, because that's the truth. And it's so easy to give away your power. It's so easy to blame and give excuses and justify the reason you're feeling like this. But the hardest thing to do is give yourself the reason that, hey, it's me. I am causing this to myself. And yes, I don't like it, but I can also shift it. And I think that's what a lot of us miss. We sometimes know when things are our fault, but we find it really hard to acknowledge and find that shift. So don't get yourself in that shame cycle where you're like, well, this is my fault. How am I messing this up? What did I do wrong? Instead, give yourself the opportunity to learn from your past actions and then identify new actions you want to create. How can you shift your energy? And that energy shift will be so powerful that it'll change everybody else's energy around you. I know that sounds hard to believe, but hear me out and try that one time. So I gave you 2 techniques so far, and that is imagining yourself in a white bubble and saying those affirmations when you notice you're getting triggered. Like, I release this habit and I am in control of my own energy, and I release this pattern and I affect my own energy. I choose the way I feel. Those are some affirmations I like to say when I notice myself getting triggered and I'm starting to see those thought patterns come up, starting to not feel good, starting to shrink, starting to not want to be at all these holiday parties and family events. And I notice that I start to say those affirmations to myself to help me shift my vibration, identify how I can stop projecting this energy, and that will immediately start to shift your energy away from that experience. The other thing I really enjoy doing is just cleansing my energy, refreshing my energy, because I do think we can use a little help sometimes. So one tool I gave you is affirmations, but I think to me, what I've noticed that helps me cleanse, rejuvenate, refresh my energy, makes me feel better is anything that's a natural element. So whether that means going outside and catching 2 to 3 breaths of fresh air, just step outside during holiday season, no matter how cold or hot it is, just go outside for a second. And it just really helps to recenter yourself and reground yourself and say, this is not that big of a deal. I'm fine. I'm in control. And then go back inside. Instead of getting all heated up and causing this vicious cycle, just have the conscious willpower and remind yourself that you're allowed to just step away for a second and completely detach. And so what I also like to do, and I'm going to give you a couple of my favorite things. So crystals are a great natural element. If you connect with crystals, you can carry a crystal around or hold it in your hand or keep it in your purse, or some people keep it in their shirt. If you have a small one, you can carry a crystal on you, wear it as a necklace, even gold or silver. Those are very healing elements too. So I wear a lot of gold jewelry. I was just raised that way. So if you have a lot of jewelry on, just remember your jewelry is protecting you. It's like your armor. So make the things that you already use in your life kind of amplify them and elevate them and charge them with your beautiful energy. And that can be your protection through the holiday season. Another thing is essential oils. Those are all natural based. So whatever scent resonates with you, whether it's lavender or whether it's rose or anything that resonates with you, dab a little bit of essential oil on you. That can help you cleanse your energy. And even if you don't have any of those tools, and I would say sage, but sometimes sage is really strong, really hard to access, but anything like sage or Palo Santo, those don't connect with me as much. To be super honest with you, I honestly enjoy herbs better, like mint and basil. I literally cleanse myself with just anything that grows out of the earth for me is cleansing, because that's the most natural thing. So let yourself play. And the last thing I was going to say is any elements. So fire, lighting candles, like doing something with fire, sitting by the fireplace, even if there's a fireplace going on, even water, drinking a glass of water, and you can actually charge your water. I've never talked about this, but it's something I actually do all the time is I charge my water with my thoughts. And the reason this is so powerful is because water makes up like I think 80+% of our bodies and obviously the earth. And so if you can charge your water with that beautiful energy, with an affirmation, with some intentions, every single molecule of that water that's going into your body is charged with that intention. And that intention is soaking up into every single cell of yours. Like how freaking beautiful is that? That's my favorite thing to do. I do it almost naturally, subconsciously every single day now, is charging my water as I drink it. And it's a beautiful way to cleanse, rejuvenate, and instill things into your body, into your soul, and just let yourself be washed by that water. And maybe it's just drinking water. Maybe it's taking a bath or taking a shower. Maybe it's going and playing in the rain or the snow. Snow is also water. So those are all different ways for you to protect and cleanse and rejuvenate your energy during the holiday season, because I know it's not always easy. I know we're surrounded by so many triggers. And just remember that no matter who triggers you, no matter what they say that triggers you, take a step back and say, okay, can I choose to not let them trigger me? What if I could just say no? What if I just don't even have to listen to them and just ignore them? I have that willpower inside of me. Am I able to channel it right now? And just build yourself a habit. It might not happen the first day. It might not happen at all this holiday season, but your intention is strong enough to where you will start to notice that shift. And so I hope that this was a really helpful episode for those of you who are going to be going through this holiday season and might be being triggered, might be feeling a little bit depleted, and might be just feeling that your energy is being penetrated by too many people at the mall, even if it's not even family members, and just little cranky old ladies at the mall who are shoving you. I've had that before and I get so frustrated at them. But then it's like, it's just a little old lady who's trying to get her grandkid a gift. Like, I can be nice to her. So just take a step back and evaluate, like, is it really worth it? Can I choose to feel something different, even though my natural reaction is to be upset, is to be annoyed, is to be triggered? Can I choose how I want to react instead of without thinking about it and uninstinctively just reacting? Can I choose my reaction? And can I choose to create how I want to feel rather than reacting unconsciously and just instinctively and habitually? Can I break those patterns? Can I break that cycle? So I would love to hear what your favorite ways are to protect your energy, or if you use any of these tools that I shared throughout the episode. I hope this was super helpful, and I hope you have a beautiful holiday season, you guys. I love each and every single one of you, and I'm so, so beyond grateful for all of your support and your love throughout my seasons and just for being here. I really do appreciate you, and I'm thankful for you for just spending time with me and giving me your energy. This has been such a fun episode for me to record because I do see the power in this, and even just a few years ago, this was me getting triggered by every mom or every aunt and every Masi, which is in Hindi means mom's sister, all of that stuff. It was so helpful for me to start to take control rather than get triggered. So I really, really wish you the best. And I hope you have a beautiful, fun-filled season of these last few weeks of the year. And I hope they're beautiful for you. Have a good one, you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. So, how did you like today's episode? I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed recording it. And before you leave, I wanted to just say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for spending some time with me. If this episode or any of my content has ever inspired you, it would mean the absolute world to me if you could leave a review in the iTunes podcast app and just share this with someone you care about. The more you guys leave reviews and share this with people, the more I am able to create more content for you, and that's what fuels me and keeps me going. I am so genuinely grateful for the time we shared today, and until next time, I'm sending you lots of love and lots of healing energy. Bye!